Hey folks, it's Ray, DCRainmaker.com here, and today I've got a $17 smart scale that will automatically update Zwift for you. Now, if you're familiar with Zwift, you know that your weight drives almost everything in Zwift. It's more important than pretty much every other metric except for how much wattage you put out. The most important thing it drives, though, is your speed. So essentially, a heavier rider will need more wattage on their smart trainer or the power meter to go faster than a lighter rider. It's like the core tenet of Zwift. And yes, there are other aspects that impact your speed in Zwift, including even your height and your virtual wheel set and your bike and all that kind of stuff. But weight's kind of the big one. And within certain circles of Zwift, if you're doing racing, for example, or even group rides, it's considered frowned upon to have inaccurate weight, at least like really inaccurate weight. A pound or so isn't really going to matter for most purposes. But when you get to like the really high end, like pro type events, you even have to videotape yourself weighing on the scale and then getting off the scale and getting on the scale and the whole like this, it's an entire dance. And you have to do it in one long shot, all to prove that your weight is accurate. It's a pretty big deal. For the rest of us though, we just want it to be like roughly accurate most of the time. And this basically takes care of that. So this scale is 17 bucks. I found it on Amazon, or actually a DC Rainmaker reader reviewer found it on Amazon and let me know about it. And it's got a pretty cool trick that I'll explain how it all works to be able to update Zwift. Now, I don't know this company. I paid just like you did. 17 US dollars, 19 euros. It has 3,700 4.5 out of 5-star reviews on Amazon. So apparently people know this thing exists. Anyways, the box itself, pretty much just a box you'd expect. Inside is a scale. It's got some plastic junk, and it's got 3 AAA batteries. The scale is rated for up to 400 pounds or 180 kilos, and it has a granularity of 0.2 pounds, or 0.1 kilos is the way it kind of displays on the scale itself. Now the batteries will flip into the back there, really straightforward, and then you'll simply turn on the scale, and you'll grab your smartphone to go ahead and pair it up. The pairing process takes just a couple seconds. You just press on a scale to wake it up. It then has a little Bluetooth icon that blinks, and then from there, you can go ahead into the app and just find the nearest scale. It's really, really straightforward. You can add your information in there, your name, and your age, so it can do a bunch of BMI type stuff afterwards. But that's it. Like the app that you install, this 1x1 app, is pretty lightweight. It's pretty straightforward. But once you get all that up and running, you want to go and link up to a Fitbit account. Now, if you don't have a Fitbit account, there's no need for a Fitbit device. It's not required at all. The reason is that Fitbit actually wants people to use their platform, and then they think they can convert you into buying Fitbit devices. And that's fine, but we just want to use their account because their account has ties to everyone. It like integrates with all these companies out there, including 1x1 and Zwift. So they're effectively our middleman here. Oh, and a quick note before I forget, if you're finding this video useful or interesting, simply whack that like button at the bottom there. It really helps out this video and the channel quite a bit. You create an account on Fitbit.com, takes just a couple seconds. Once you've got that done, you're gonna go back into the 1x1 app for the scale right here, and you'll simply link those two together. There's an option in the settings there. It says link to Fitbit. It's the only option that you can link to. And then it authenticates into Fitbit, and you approve that you want to update your weight and other metrics. Once that's done, you simply go over to Zwift. You can do it on Zwift.com or on a smartphone, and basically do the inverse. You choose in the partnerships there, Fitbit, and then go ahead and again, approve that you want to link those two pieces together. And now you're done. Literally, that's all you need to do except for simply stepping on the scale. When you step on the scale, it'll go ahead and automatically record that weight and transmit it to the smartphone app. The app in my testing does have to be open. It doesn't seem to work like as a background sync sort of thing, which is kind of a little bit too bad, but it will actually save the readings though on the scale even if the phone isn't nearby. So you can track a number of days worth of readings just to have it in the phone app from the record standpoint, and then later on it'll transmit the most recent one to Fitbit and onto Zwift. From a timing standpoint, it's super quick. Within like 1 or 2 seconds of the reading hitting my smartphone from the scale, it shows up on Fitbit. And then it seems to take like 30 seconds or so to get from Fitbit to Zwift. One tip though is if you're refreshing the Zwift companion app trying to see if the weight's updated, I noticed that doesn't seem to update until you close the app out and then reopen it again. I suspect they pull that information in when you open the app up and they don't actually refresh it all the time. Versus if you're on the Zwift website, it shows instantly as soon as you refresh. So just keep that in mind there. Overall, this works fine. Like it's a great little solution for 17 bucks. There are obviously other scales out there that can do this. The Fitbit scales, both the Bluetooth as well as the Wi-Fi ones, work without just that additional hop. So that's an option. The Bluetooth Fitbit scale costs 50 bucks versus the Wi-Fi one they seem to have discontinued. So it's not really an option anymore. Then there's the Withings Wi-Fi scales, which ironically can take advantage of this exact same like little thing because they too work with Fitbit. And so the Withings Wi-Fi scales start at $59 and go up from there. And those are great because you don't have to have your smartphone on at all. You just have the scale, chill in the bathroom, and just simply step on the scale and it does its magic behind the scenes using Wi-Fi as opposed to having your smartphone and app open. So that's also an option as well. I've linked that one down there at the bottom. Oh, from an accuracy standpoint, by the way, I compared it side by side with the Fitbit Area Wi-Fi scale and the Garmin Index S2 scale, and they were all within 0.3 pounds of each other, so about 0.1 or so kilos. So pretty darn close about what you'd expect for these sort of things. For the other metrics like the BMI and body fat and muscle mass and stuff, it's not going to be accurate. It uses electrical impedance using these little pads right here. It goes up between your legs, back down again, and it tries to figure that all out. And that sort of technology has been around for like decades, and it's always super wishy-washy. I even one time brought half a dozen people into a lab to do testing of all that stuff against like a dozen scales, and all over the map. Even the high-end scales like the Tanitas and stuff like that didn't really matter. So for me, I'm just focused on core weight, which is all that Zwift cares about. The other stuff, if you find it interesting, go for it, but I wouldn't really depend on it from an accuracy standpoint. Also note that if you're on an iPhone, you can sync the data into Apple Health, and if you're on an Android phone, you can sync the data into Google Fit. You can also export the data as well. It spits it out as a CSV file, so it's not like totally islanded into just this particular app and the Fitbit ecosystem. Anyways, if you found this video interesting, useful, simply whack that like button at the bottom there, or hit the subscribe button. That's all I got for you. With that, have a good one.